So let's start. Let's see if we need some trap work. Let's start in a child's pose today. And if you have your blankets, you can fold them into two long rectangles. Or if you have a bolster, this will be a kind of our bolster alternative. So we'll get ourselves situated so that we can get nice and close to the floor. Give yourself plenty of space for the knees. Let your belly drop. Now allow your body to rest on top of whatever props you have. If you're feeling any, like your knees aren't happy in this position, you can also add a blanket underneath the thighs. You can add any extra kind of lift or cushion under the seat. You can put a blanket under the knees. Just make sure it's sustainable for these first few minutes. We'll soften the shoulders. Close the eyes, loosen the jaw. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open the mouth and release. Do that again. Big breath in. Exhale. Seal the lips. Inhale through your nose. Gentle exhale out the nose. So if it's more comfortable to turn to a cheek rather than have the forehead down, just depending on what type of prop you're using under your face, I'll give you the heads up when it's time to kind of switch sides for the head so that you don't end up with one side of the neck feeling more stretched than the other. We'll start to anchor down into the floor, releasing any kind of mental burdens you've been holding on to. Letting the chaos and drama of life melt off of you. It's always easier to say than to do, but even if you can shed a little bit at a time, even if you can release 10%, it's better than nothing, and it's a starting point. We'll get settled into the sensations physically in the body, right? Feeling your prop underneath you, your mat. Noticing light and shadow, even with the eyelids closed. Noticing temperature, texture of the clothing against your skin. And paying special attention to the breath going in and out of the body, where it expands and where it contracts. Keeping your eyes closed or very soft, let's rise up onto hands and knees. Take a couple cat-cows here, any kind of organic movement that you want to take before we settle back into child's pose. Use this as a chance to follow the breath, take notice of any other parts of the body that might be a little stiff or might need a little bit more attention. Then we'll settle back into our child's pose. If you had one side of your head turned down towards your props, this is a good time to switch it up. And the first few breaths are really just to settle back into the pose. You'll never feel like the first opportunity coming into something is what you're stuck with. So if you get into it and you still need some adjustments, shoulders, jaw, hips, knees, feel free to make those adjustments. Notice in this second round of our child's pose if it feels different. Maybe it feels a little longer, maybe it feels a little heavier, a little softer. Maybe you feel closer to the floor or closer against your props. We'll take 5 more breaths here. And gently press your way back up onto hands and knees. Go ahead and move your props out of the way. We'll take some cat-cows here again. Seeing how things feel at this point. And then back to a neutral spine. Let's thread the needle from here. Float your right arm up to the sky. Slide it all the way through. Let your ear and your shoulder melt into the floor. Drag your left hip back a little. And if you want to get a little more into that right shoulder blade space, you place your left hand on top of the right and push your right hand away. Just add a little more to that twist. You might feel it around the shoulder blade into the lats. One more breath here. Bring your left hand back into the floor, open your right arm up. And exhale, release. To the other side, left arm floats. Exhale, slide it through. Once you get down to the floor, if you want to add a little more to that left shoulder blade space, put your right hand on top of the left palm and push the palm away. Drag your right hip back just a hair. One more breath in. Bring your right hand back into the floor. Press and open, left arm floats. And exhale, release. From here, we'll go ahead and swing the feet forward. Let's come into a seat, comfortable cross-legged seat of your choice. Start to work into the back of the neck here. I'm going to sit up nice and tall. Take a couple rolls your shoulders first. Pulling the shoulder blades back toward each other, dropping the shoulders down. Stay tall through the spine. If you need a little bit more lift, I always recommend a blanket under the seat. Sometimes changes the tilt of the pelvis and allows you to sit a little taller. So starting from this nice long spine, you're going to drop your chin down toward the chest. You can either stay here, letting the weight of the head on its own come closer to the chest, feeling that stretch in the back of the neck, or you can lace the hands behind the head, let your elbows come toward each other, and using the hands as added weight. So you can also play with the positioning of the hands. The lower the hands are to the base of the skull, the less intense that'll be. The higher up on top of the head, the more intense. You can kind of play with where you really need to place the hands, how much intensity your body really needs. And then keep those shoulders relaxed down away from the ears. Notice if you're holding back in any way on the stretch of the back of the neck. Take one more breath here. If you have the hands laced behind the head, go ahead and release them. We're going to roll the head all the way back up. All right, we're going to make a little chicken wing on this right side. The way we're going to do that is we're going to wrap the left hand behind. I'm going to try to grab for your left wrist with your right hand and then draw this right elbow out this way. So a little chicken wing action. Slide your right shoulder blade back and down. You'll sit tall again. From this position, we're going to drop the head back toward the chest, and then you're going to roll left ear toward the left shoulder. You're going to feel some stretch and pull side of the neck, starting to get into that right trap. And you can either stay here, just kind of let gravity do what it needs to do with the weight of the head and this arm positioning. Or if you need a little manual massage, you can leave this chicken wing out Release the left hand and use your left fingers, finding that right side. Just putting some steady pressure into the muscle, maybe making little circles. A lot of times that trap tension will go all the way up toward the back of the neck on that right side. Find little knots along the way. And keep the breath nice and smooth. We'll take a few more breaths here. And then we'll release the arms. We'll bring the head back up to center. You're going to pause here in center. You're going to feel a lot of kind of tingling sensations on that right side that we just spent opening and stretching. All right, we're going to set up for our chicken wing on the left side. So you're going to wrap your right arm behind. So you can catch the right wrist with your left hand, or you could hold the hand, making a little chicken wing on the left side. Slide your left shoulder blade back and down. Once you have your arms in place, we'll drop the head, we'll roll the right ear toward the right shoulder. And you can hang here. Head is heavy, dropping to the right with the left elbow pulling out to the left. Or if you want to add a little manual massage here, right hand finding the left trap, left side, back of the neck. Take one more breath here. Release the hands. Bring the head back up to center and let that linger for a moment in center. And then again, we'll drop the chin down toward the chest. Feel the weight of the head. This time we're going to do a little slow back and forth. We won't add the hands this time. Just letting the head roll over to the left or to the right, whichever one you want to start with. Take your time here if you get to a spot that needs you to just kind of chill out for a while. Use the head positioning to help you open the back of the neck, getting into the traps. And to feel you've gotten both sides pretty evenly, we'll bring the head back up to center. And we'll work our way We'll stay in a seat, but we're gonna bring your right leg out to the side, about 45-degree angle. And we'll bring your left foot into the inner right thigh. All right, so we're gonna keep your right foot nice and flexed, and we're gonna turn the torso to your left knee. Try to keep your right sits bone on the floor. We'll start to take a forward fold over your left thigh. And come all the way back up. Keep your chest turned to the left. We're gonna slide the right arm down the inside of the right leg. Use that to roll the chest open. And then we'll take your left arm up and over. And you can either leave this a little more active, stretching long. I'm feeling kind of lazy and tired. So I'm gonna make a little head rest with my right fist. And I'm gonna drop my left arm on top of the head for a little more weight. Now, if you find that this position, the right arm is too low, you could stack some blankets underneath the right elbow, give yourself a little more height to work with. The key thing here is the rotation of the chest, keeping the left sits bone on the ground, and then allowing the left arm to reach toward that right side. Keep the belly soft here. One more deep breath here. And we're gonna move the left arm out of the way first. And then slowly bring the spine back up to center. I'm gonna pause here. Feel what might be lingering on the left side body. All right, we're gonna switch sides. You're gonna extend your left leg out to about 45 degrees. Bring your right foot into the inner left thigh. Turn the torso towards your right knee. Keep your left sits bone down. Start to fold any amount. One more breath here. Slowly come back up. Keep the chest turned to the right. Slide the left arm down the inside of the leg. Start to move that right arm up and over. You can create a little headrest with your left fist. You can drape your right arm. Adding a little more weight here, and then we're gonna let go. Notice if your body's trying to hold back. Sometimes our bodies aren't quite up to the task of release yet, and so we have to actively let go of different muscle groups. Notice if we're tensing anywhere. Take for one more breath in. Move the right arm out the way, and then we'll gently come all the way back up. Pause here in center. Two more breaths. All right, flutter the eyes open. Let's grab both of our blankets. We're gonna come back to that double stacked long rectangle, and or you could use a bolster in its place. And we're gonna set this toward the back of your mat. And we're gonna get a big heart opener here. Give yourself plenty of room to sit in front of your double stacked blankets. We're gonna roll the chest open. So the shoulder blades should be able to get just above your props. You probably won't get the shoulder blades all the way down to the floor. I'll give you a few options with the legs. You can do Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out. You can cross your legs if that feels better. And then sometimes people feel better in more of like a modified fish pose with the legs straight. So I'll leave that up to you to find the best position for your legs. I think I'm gonna go with crossed legs today. And we'll let the arms open out into cactus. Just letting those shoulder blades drop down wherever they are in space, or if they're getting closer to the floor. Feel how the props push back up against your body when you breathe in, lifting the chest and giving plenty of room for expansion. Allow the props to support you as you breathe out, holding your spine. One more breath here. Roll to one side, doesn't matter which side, just as long as you can kind of shimmy your props out from underneath. And we'll come all the way back onto your back here. Hug your knees into the chest. A little bit of a rock side to side on the low back. We'll take a happy baby here, either grabbing for your big toes or grabbing for the outsides of the feet. Drawing the knees wide. And again, you can add some movement here. And then we'll bring the right knee into the chest and lengthen your left leg down on the ground. Give your right knee a tight squeeze into the belly. From here, bend your left knee and plant the foot on the ground. Release your right knee and let's cross your right ankle over the left thigh, coming into a figure four. If this feels like enough of a hip opening, you're welcome to stay here. If you want a little more, you can bring the legs closer into the body, maybe lacing the hands behind the left thigh. Keep the low back relaxed into the ground. Notice if you're holding back in that stretch through the right hip. I'm going to get out of the way of the shape of the pose and let the pose do its work. One more breath here. If you have the hands laced, go ahead and release them. We can drop all of this figure four over to the left, maybe shifting the hips to the right a little and allowing the right arm to open, or you can cross this right thigh all the way over the left for a little deeper of a twist. Any variation that you want to take here, start to soften the belly muscles, the low back muscles. Let the right shoulder blade get a little heavier into the floor. Start to bring the legs back through center. Reset the hips, uncross the legs. We'll take the feet wide and windshield wiper the knees side to side. And we'll lengthen the right leg long. Draw your left knee in. We'll fold it into the chest. One more breath. Bend your right knee, set the foot on the floor. Let's cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Allow for the left hip to open if you want a little more, and draw the legs closer into the body. One more breath here. And the hands release, go ahead and release them. Start to drop the legs over to the right, to the left. And then you can keep that figure four shape, or you can cross that left leg all the way over the right. One last breath here. Bring everything back into center. Hug the knees back into the chest. take some gentle movement here. All right, let's start to set up for Shavasana. If you have a wall nearby or some furniture, maybe you have a couch or something that you want to prop your legs up on, it's always a great option. If you want to take a more traditional Shavasana lying on the ground with your legs long, feel free to add that. If you're feeling very anxious, ungrounded, you might take one of your blankets and use it as a weight on the belly. Give yourself all the room that you need. Make sure that you're supported where you need support. If you're a little chilly in your room, feel free to add some blankets, some soft things. Let the shoulder blades melt down into the floor. And we start to get kind of those wiggles out of the way. Make sure everything is comfortable. You don't have one side more open than the other. You have the lighting the way that you want it. And we're going to settle in. We may take a pretty good, nice long Shavasana here. Close your eyes, settle down. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths here together. Big inhale. Open mouth, exhale. Do that again. Breath in. Breath out. Last one, fill all the way up. And let everything go. Start to deepen the breath. Bring small movements back into your fingers and your toes. Circle your wrists and your ankles. We'll reach the arms overhead. Take a full body stretch. Yawn, move your jaw around. Draw the knees into the chest, roll over to your left, coming into fetal position. We'll spend a few breaths on your side. Pressing up with your hands. Find your way up to a comfortable seat. And keep the eyes closed. Bring your palms to touch at heart center. Give yourself a moment here, just sitting in this quiet that you've created. Length of the spine, calm of the mind. We'll seal our practice tonight with a single Om. First, take a full breath in through your nose. Sigh this breath out. Inhale to chant. Namaste. Everybody still there? They make it?